having gone through the book, I am really encouraged.
Really impressive. I admonish anyone I know to get the book.
For Survivor, it's a very, very good book. It's very encouraging because it brought hope to somebody that we didn't think had hope in life.
The book is a good one, looking at the love area, everything about it is holistic.
Beautiful book, and once you read it, no matter what you're going through, you find hope, strength.
It gives hope to a lot of people out there. And I tell you, all sickle cell patients out there, there is hope for you. Don't give up in life because your case could just be different.
A cross-section of readers of the book, S is for Survivor, written by Samira Sanusi. In this edition of Literary Corner, coming to you from Voice of Nigeria, we spotlight this autobiography, detailing the experiences of the author as she coped with having sickle cell anemia. Do stay with us. I am Wamani Angor. Samira Sanusi was born in Jos, northern Nigeria. At the early stage of her life, barely 8 months after she was born, she was diagnosed with a blood disorder.
My name is Sanusi Sanusi. I'm a sickle cell awareness advocate, founder of Samira Sanusi Sickle Cell Foundation. I was born with a disease, a sickle cell disorder.
Though born with this condition, doctors assured Samira's parents that she would live a normal life with a healthy lifestyle, diet, and a daily dose of folic acid like other patients diagnosed with sickle cell anemia. However, this was not to be.
It was a very limiting and restrictive childhood I lived, in the sense that there was a limit to how much I could play, how much I could eat. There was a limit to so many things I could do, including school and stuff like that other kids would participate in.
According to the author, a family trip to Funtua, Katsina State in northern Nigeria, changed her life. While on the trip, she fell into crisis and went to a family doctor who misdiagnosed her as having typhoid fever. This moment led to chains of medical journeys that got her bedridden for a greater part of 7 years.
I had no idea it would be this long. For me, I thought it was just like any normal crisis that would last 1 or 2 weeks maximum. That was the usual. Days after the whole thing started, I knew that it wasn't just any normal crisis because of its severity, the fact that the painkillers weren't working, the fact that I just wasn't getting better, and my body just felt really wrong. Obviously, we kept treating it with the same old routine of analgesics, blood transfusion, IV fluids, hoping that would work. But by the time we realized that it was more serious than we thought, a lot of the damage had already been done. I had already received the wrong medications that were already damaging my bones, and I had not been diagnosed of certain diseases and complications I was already dealing with and needed to be taken care of, but they were just left unattended.
The hospital became Samira's second home. Over the years, she went through about 28 surgeries. Some carried out in her native land, Nigeria, others she had to travel abroad for. She writes,
A few months after that, I went back to the hospital for a hip surgery procedure that would lengthen some muscles I had that shrunk. By this time, I was used to going into the hospital for surgeries. They had become a part of my life, and it seemed there was always something to be fixed. Some surgeries were minor, others were major. The ultimate goal was to get me back on my feet, and walking with no external support. I was only able to walk a little during physiotherapy and at home when I was doing nothing, but for the most part, I was in the wheelchair.
Samira's autobiography alludes to the fact that she derived great hope and reasons to stay strong and confident to fight sickle cell from the support given to her by members of her family, even when some of the doctors told them there was nothing they could do to reduce her suffering or cure her.
You can't give up when there's someone who is fighting so fiercely for you. That is inspiring. You automatically want to leave.
It is refreshing to love and be loved, as it heals body and soul. With the ups and downs Samira experienced through her journey, she was still able to find love at different times.
It's also been one of those things that also kept me going, because when you love and you're loved, there's a certain degree of inspiration and drive and motivation and fire that it gives you because you have someone to share your troubles with. Just about having someone to hold, a hand to hold, a shoulder to cry on, a listening ear. I also believe in being that for other people.
Samira's journey taught her many things. Having compassion, however, appears to be chief among them. She also learnt about being strong in the face of life's daunting challenges.
People who knew me and had heard my story had already put me on this pedestal and made me like a messenger of hope or inspiration or strength or bravery. So among my friends, I was the strong and brave one. Among my family members, I was an inspiration and the one who was strong. And to the world, to even strangers who I didn't know at all, I was that pillar of strength. So everywhere I went, I was carrying that burden of being strong for other people while I was breaking down.
The author highlights the importance of education. Despite what she went through, she still made efforts to ensure that she fulfills her dream of getting an education.
I always loved school, probably because I didn't get to attend much of it. The hospitals that I went to abroad, it was very easy for me to continue my schooling because they have social workers who come to spend time with you. So I was taking math classes, I was taking chemistry, physics, English, computer classes. I even got a certification for European computer driving license while I was in the hospital. There were so many times during surgery and after coming out of surgery, my parents will ask me, what do you need us to bring you from home? I'll be like, please bring my laptop. I need to turn in my assignment. And they're looking at me like, you just came out of surgery. Can you chill?
Good friends can be likened to angels that lift us up on our feet when our wings don't remember how to fly. Samira acknowledges the role her friends played to help her stay positive as she battled her condition.
I was lucky enough to have so many beautiful and amazing souls who were there for me. Now, 99.9% of them did not fully understand what it was that I was going through at the time. I had already grown too fast, way beyond my peers, but they were there, and for the most part, that was enough.
Poetry is a genre of literature that allows one to express feelings, pent-up emotions, and share thoughts or ideas with the world. Samira wrote poems during her stay at the hospital to express what she was going through. A lot of them added to the story in her book. She reads this one she titles, Fight.
I have fought and fought, but it seems like the war isn't ending. I don't know how much longer I have to fight. I just know that I have to keep fighting. I'm too weak, almost too weak to try, almost too weak to keep fighting. But what other choice do I have but to fight? Who will fight this war for me if I don't? I've shed tears and broken stuff. I've fought those who love me. I've begged them to understand my pain. I've pleaded with them to walk with me. Stand by me, hold my hand and never let go. For I have to keep on fighting because everyone in life is fighting a war and only the strong souls triumph. People wonder why I'm so sad. I try to explain that my war is too bloody for me. They never really understand, so I smile. Tell them I'll be fine and continue to fight my war. Sometimes I stop to cry, to wipe the sweat. Sometimes I stop to rest and stretch to see how far I've gone. Sometimes I stop to smile at my progress and learn from mistakes. And then I continue fighting my war. Those who stand by me and fight with me, together we laugh, cry, and we fight hard till it's all over and done with, till I, together with them, win the fight.
Sickle cell was not the only ailment that Samira fought. There were moments she had to fight depression too. She recounts one of those moments.
There were days when I would get very depressed and wonder when everything will end or if it will ever end. Sometimes I had a glimmer of hope, but most times things looked bleak. For the most part, I was lost. I struggled to keep my hopes up and faith strong. They say everything happens for a reason, but trials are harder when we don't know the reason we are being tried. I needed to believe that something great was waiting for me. I needed God.
Samira's father refused to give up. He got to work and continued to seek information about scientific advancements made in the treatment of sickle cell anemia. At last, he was fortunate to learn of a new treatment using genetic engineering involving bone marrow transplantation, available in Austria.
I don't think there are a lot of men who will do what Haruna Sanusi did. So I know how lucky and blessed I am to have someone who will go to whatever it takes to make sure that I not only survive, but I live life as best as I can.
The book, S is for Survivor, is a 100-page inspirational book that tells the painful story of the author who fought and won a 7-year war against sickle cell anemia. Today, she is free from the crisis and pain that accompanies the condition thanks to a bone marrow transplant she underwent. She had to endure going in and out of hospitals around the world.
What inspired me to write S is for Survivor is during my journey, the years I spent in the hospital, I've had a diary ever since. So I was writing every time. The message that I wanted to pass across in the book was that of hope, inspiration, and motivation. Because during my journey, I didn't get a lot of that. It was very hard to find books that I really related and connected to. A lot of them were just talking about generic things like heartbreak. By the time I was reading books about heartbreak and failed marriages, I had already been through experiences that were worse than that. It was lonely to go through something and not have enough resources or enough books that you can turn to. So I wanted to be able to do that with my book, especially to the sickle cell community here in Nigeria who, have been told that there's no cure or that they won't live past age 5, that they can't get married. So much stigma and negativity around it. I wanted to show them that all of that can happen and people can say that and more. And in order to deliver the messages that I wanted to, I had to be as open, as vulnerable, as bare. That's the only way that you can really reach people and get through to them and be relatable.
S is for Survivor was published in 2014. Samira talks about its reception and impact on her audience.
I think the reception has been great and the impact has been beyond my expectations.
About her foundation and the support she gets from the general public, she says,
Samira H Sickle Cell Foundation was established in May 2014. It was launched together with the launch of S is for Survivor, and proceeds from the book S is for Survivor is what funds the foundation. We use it to basically provide financial aid to low-income families living with sickle cell anemia in Nigeria. At the moment, we have a team of patients and staff and members in 7 states across Nigeria. We started with just 5 patients. Now we have over 300. We've been able to fund surgeries for 2 sickle cell warriors who needed hip replacement surgeries and other life-changing surgeries to improve their mobility and their well-being. Most of the important work we do is in providing genotype testing and counseling in an effort to sensitize people, educate them, and inform them about the importance of knowing their genotype before settling down in an effort to reduce sickle cell births. We've had so many free genotype testing campaigns in, I think, at least 5 states, and we've provided so many sickle cell warriors and their families with free medication that they have to be taking every day, day in, day out. And we also help with paying hospitalization bills to those who cannot afford. We provide and help with access to blood donors and blood banks. We basically do everything that our warriors ask from us. So those are some of the things that the foundation does, and at the same time we reach out to state governments to speak to them about implementing bans on marriages that are incompatible. For example, the Kaduna state government recently passed a bill that says you have to undergo medical screening before you get married. Anambra state also have the same bill in its second reading, and we're hoping that in the near future a lot of other states will also implement this and enforce it.
Samira's book, S is for Survivor, gives hope to the possibility of a significant reduction of cases of sickle cell anemia through support and counseling for carriers and sensitization on genotype compatibility. Well, it's been fun, and it can only get better when you send your comments, inquiries, observations, and suggestions to the producer, Literary Corner, Voice of Nigeria. Broadcasting House, PMB 40003, Falomo Ikoyi, Lagos, Nigeria. Or to PMB 5089, Wuse, Abuja, Nigeria. You can also send an email to vonprograms24@yahoo.com or visit our website. It's www.von.gov.ng for live streaming of our programs and news. Why don't you join our conversation on Twitter? Our handle is @VoiceOfNigeria. My producer has been Fatima Amademi, and Sunday Adeshina was at the audio console. I am Wamani Ango. Keep on reading.